Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And this particular story I'm doing today has everything to do with a few caveats that I talk about all the time: mental illness, family dynamics, and how sometimes when those two things get intertwined, it can lead to heinous crimes and even sometimes death. And this is another story of a child killing his own parent and mother. A son decides to intentionally or unintentionally, allegedly, kills his mother based on the summation that she was practicing witchcraft on him. Mental illness is real. This young man has been in and out of institutions, mental institutions and facilities, most of his young life. And when he was on his medication, his sister and family said they could tell he was okay. And when he was off his meds, they can tell that something was off and was not right. And unfortunately, in this situation, it appears that he was not on his meds, and he ended up doing the worst thing possible, killing his mom based on the summation that she was practicing witchcraft on him. So let's go. This is straight out of Dubuque, Iowa, where a man is charged in the death of his mother. He said she was practicing witchcraft on him. The sister of a Dubuque man charged in the death of his mother says she doesn't believe holding him responsible is right, fair, or legal. Tyler Daisy, 28, faces life in prison without the possibility of parole for killing his 46-year-old mother, Jennifer Daisy, last month. Kylie Daisy, his sister, Tyler's sister, started telling her brother's story on the social media platform TikTok. While she acknowledges that Tyler killed their mother, she wants something other than jail for him. Police responded to the family's home on Avoca Street on January 18th after Jennifer's friend stopped by and saw Tyler standing naked in the kitchen and Jennifer dead in her bedroom. The family dog was also found dead, lying on the living room floor sofa with what police said appeared to be a significant head injury to the dog. Tyler told investigators his mother had been practicing witchcraft on him, something he said she'd been doing for years. That was a joke, Kylie Daisy said. That's the sister. Kylie, and Tyler is the son. When he was sane, he'd say she's in there playing witchcraft. Yeah, it was a joke. Now that he's manic, he believes it was real. Tyler Daisy's criminal history shows a man who struggled with mental illness for years. He'd been committed to psychiatric units in the hospital voluntarily and involuntarily multiple times. His mental illness became so severe that his sister said he was on disability for schizophrenia. All of a sudden, he would start talking different. And you knew, okay, he's not doing his best, Kylie told TV9. You can tell by his tone. You can see it in his eyes. He's not talking about or making any sense on the topics that he's talking about. You could definitely see signs. The day he was booked on multiple charges at the Dubuque County Jail, he was placed in a holding cell reserved for inmates on suicide watch. It was a place he'd been many times before. The jail staff said the last time he was there, he begged for more help, but none was available. They keep building jails, and they're so quick to put someone in jail, but when someone needs help, they turn away from them instantly, his sister Kylie said. Jennifer Daisy was receiving treatment for brain cancer when she died. Jennifer is the mother. She was being treated for brain cancer when Tyler allegedly killed his mother. So she was already going through some stuff, major stuff. She had worked her way up to a management position at a disaster service company. Her daughter described her as a ball of happiness. But Kylie doesn't believe her mom's killer deserves prison because it wasn't Tyler then. It was his mental illness. I don't want him to be put away behind bars because he's not going to get any help, Kylie said. Maybe a mental institution would be the best thing for him. Tyler appeared in court virtually earlier this week for a competency hearing to determine if he suffers from a mental disorder that prevents him from understanding the charges against him. The hearing barely lasted 5 minutes because the court didn't hear the results of the evaluation. Tyler's attorney said they believe the expert will find Tyler competent to stand trial, but the final report isn't complete. So Tyler's attorneys said they believe that the expert will find him competent. His own attorneys. Not that he's incompetent by killing his mother based on witchcraft, and he's had manic episodes, was on disability for schizophrenia, and his own attorneys are saying that he's competent. He needs to fire his attorneys. That evaluation has since been completed, but an official report has not been made. Last week, Tyler hand-wrote a motion to the court asking to remove his current state-appointed lawyers, writing, "I do not intend on using the affirmative defense of insanity, and counsel has proven to be inadequate in my opinion." I think that is absolutely correct. Tyler has enough sense to get rid of his lawyers if they saying that he's competent. One, they're not psychologists or psychiatrists to give an adequate medical evaluation on that circumstance. And then why would they even speak that into existence when the evaluation has not been completed and submitted to the court? So Tyler has enough conscious sense to know, let me get rid of these court-appointed attorneys. The other part to this that I think is very interesting, and I talk about it all the time, is that mental illness is a real thing. And on the medical paradigm, it is placed at the very bottom. I have a relative who has been to the urologist, the endocrinologist, an ENT, his internal medicine doctor. He had not been to the doctor in several years. He's getting everything up to date, but he wants to get a psych evaluation, and that has taken over a year for him to get one appointment. I'm going to say it again. He's been to the urologist, ENT, internal medicine, endocrinologist, and GI doctor. He's seen every doctor where you can show where there are signs and symptoms for that particular specialty. However, in psychiatry, is still this kind of hocus pocus kind of montage where people don't take it seriously because you can't see schizophrenia or a manic attack on an x-ray, and that's not fair and that's not accurate or true. There are like 20% out of 360 or 70 million people in America. Statistically, they say there are 20% of our population has some form of mental health issue, whether it's diagnosed or undiagnosed, treated or untreated mental illness or mental disabilities. That's like 75 million people walking around this earth and in America with mental health issues. Those people need to be attended to. We have veterans, military veterans that have given their life to service for our country, that have come back with PTSD and all kinds of mental disorders and diagnoses after what has happened to them. And they are walking around homeless, not being treated. And in fairness, there are some people that don't want to be treated. However, the way the system is set up, it is almost impossible to get a psych evaluation. Now, if you go to an emergency room and tell them that you're going to harm yourself or may harm somebody else, what they'll do is put you on a 72-hour hold like you're in jail and send you to a psych ward full of steel doors, locked in small rooms with a small window that reminds you of prison. However, if you go to the hospital and say you have a broken finger, you will be attended to immediately. There is something wrong with this chasm in our system. Mental illness is real. It's at the very top of our axiom of issues that are taking place in our society today. And I've done innumerable amount of stories of children turning and killing their parents. I did a story on a guy out of Florida who was a valedictorian of his high school class, was at the University of Florida as a pre-med student. He came home one weekend, you can see it on the door cam, to visit his mom. His mom wanted him to come visit her for the weekend while he was in school. And he had a knife in his hand, and when she opened the door, he stabbed her over 40 times and killed her. And he said to the police that his excuse was she got on his nerves. There was another scenario, another video I did on an Indiana young man who killed his college professor, administrator, mom, in a heinous crime also. Son killing mom. It's almost biblical. The individual that gives birth to you, your mother, you're supposed to have a paternal, maternal instinct with your mom, even closer than you would with your father. And you have kids today that are turning and killing their parents. Not only their fathers, but their mothers, and some are even killing their siblings. There has been a large uptick in the number of individuals that are killing their parents, their siblings, their own family members. Mental illness is real, and I'm going to continue to do videos about this until it becomes a very important issue. Mental illness should be right at the top of these issues in this political era that we're in, and this presidential campaign. Mental illness should be right up there with the migrant crisis. The migrant crisis, the M words, mental illness, the opioid crisis, homelessness, mental illness, opioid crisis, homelessness are all playing a part in tearing our moral and ethical fabric of our society apart. They are playing a part, tearing apart our positive physical and emotional existence, and we need to do something about it. I don't believe that his mother was practicing witchcraft on him. I think when parents and you have kids, you play little games with them. She had taken him in to try to help him, and that puts you in a weird chasm again, because whether it's opioid issues or mental health issues, you want to help your child, but you also could be possibly putting yourself in danger. The drugs that are out here today, somebody could be partially sane or going through some things, and they're using street drugs to try to find a resolution. And many times the kinds of drugs that are being used today can change the entire makeup of your mental capabilities and your reality shaping. So schizophrenia is real, stress and anxiety, bipolar, multiple personality, manic issues and attacks are very real scenarios, and they can lead to somebody either harming themselves or harming others. Let's pay attention to what's going on with mental illness. Tell me what you think of this story. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing way. Unfortunately, this young man from Dubuque, Iowa, allegedly killed his mother, saying that she was practicing witchcraft on him. And the sister, Kylie, believes that Tyler had a mental breakdown and lost all reality with real life, and ended up doing one of the most heinous things you can do by killing his own mother. Tell me what you think about mental illness and this particular video and storyline. It's a sad commentary, and it's happening way too often, way too much in our society today.